deceive you. My voice just wants to leave you.
Bro, people need to stop. This has 12,000 likes. What is going on? No, guys, I can't believe I'm saying this, okay? Mr. America Deserved 9/11 has to make a statement here. Osama bin Laden was not right. What the f are you saying? What is happening, dude? What is going on in the world? They removed it. Wait, what? This full page previously displayed a document containing in translation the full text of Osama bin Laden's letter to the American people, as reported in The Observer on the 24th. This document, which was published here on the same day, was removed on the 15th of November. Wait, what? What is happening? Why did The Guardian delete this? It's not even young kids either. It's like people in their mid-20s. I don't get it. What's going on? You do not, under any circumstances, have to hand it to Osama bin Laden. Okay? The fuck are people saying? First of all, he's insane. What are we talking about? He's America's guy. What? To the American people, peace be upon those who follow the righteous track. Hereafter, the subject of my talk to you is the overwhelming control of capital and its effect on the ongoing war between us. By the way, love Osama bin Laden saying the overwhelming control of capital. He's literally like a developer, a real estate developer's son, okay? And not only that, but also just entirely fucking removed from any sort of materialist analysis, okay? His claim to fame was literally fighting socialists. He was armed and trained and given weapons and hailed as a hero for killing communists, okay? Make no mistake. I direct my talk specifically to those who support real change, especially you. I say from the onset, your former president warned you previously about the devastating Jewish control of capital. Exactly. This is what I mean. Why the fuck would you take this shit seriously? Yeah. Real anti-capitalist hero Osama bin Laden, dude. And about a day that would come when it would enslave you, it has happened. Your current president warns you about, anti-capitalist hero, but for some weird reason, one, most famously, killed commies. Two, was armed and trained by the American state. Three, had a network of operatives that were CIA, okay, that were either under the watch of the CIA or directly linked to the CIA, okay, and then immediately says Jewish control of capital. What Jewish control of capital, dog? Fuck you mean? What are you, like a big truther when it comes to just like WASPs owning capital? You're like, only Jews are not allowed to have capital. Is that what it is? Yeah. It's great. Anytime dumb motherfuckers are like, oh, Jews have capital. Ooh, that's weird and scary. I'm like, what are you doing? What planet are you living on? What planet are any of us living on? Okay? Like the idea that like Jews are monolithic and they're operating with a similar interest, a similar goal across the board is utterly ridiculous. And not only that, but Jews do not operate for Jews. They operate just like every other fucking capitalist operates. Jewish capitalists operate as capitalists, not Jews. Just like WASP capitalists. Just like Muslim capitalists. Okay? What the fuck? There might be deviations from the norm, but that doesn't fucking mean anything. Overall, people are self-interested. Jews being a shadow cabal is my favorite brain dead conspiracy. I mean, it's the conspiracy. Anyway, an observer, the policies, blah, 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 blah. What is this? What? God's law. Well, it has happened. Your current president warns you about the enormity of capital control in a cycle whereby it devours humanity when it's devoid of the precepts of God's law, Sharia. The tyranny of the control of capital by large companies has harmed your economy as it did ours. Yeah, he was actually trust busting when he busted into the World Trade Center. He was like, it's really bad. Corporate consolidation is creating greedflation in America, and left unchecked is going to really ruin the lives and the material conditions of American citizens. That's why we have to fucking do 9/11. Anyway, tens of millions of you are below the poverty line. Millions have lost their homes, and millions have lost their jobs to mark the highest average unemployment in 60 years. Your financial system in its totality was about to collapse within 48 hours had not the administration reverted to using taxpayers' money to rescue the vultures by using the assets of the victims. What is this? As for us, our Iraq was invaded in response to pressure from capitals with greed for black gold. And you continue to support the oppressive Israelis in their occupation of our Palestine in response to our pressures on your administration by a Jewish lobby backed by enormous financial capabilities. An observer of the policies of the new administration. Is this the part that people are reading on TikTok? Is that what it is?
I need everyone to stop what they're doing right now and go read. It's literally 2 pages. Go read A Letter to America. And please come back here and just let me know what you think, because I feel like I'm going through like an existential crisis right now, and a lot of people are. So I just need someone else to be feeling this too. I'm a big believer.
Bro, people need to stop. What is going on, dude? What? While seeking Allah's help, we form our reply based on the questions directed at Americans. Why are we fighting and opposing you? What are we calling you to? And what do we want from you? As for the first question, why are we fighting and opposing you? The answer is very simple. Because, one, you attacked us and continue to attack us. You attacked us in Palestine. Palestine, which is sunk under military occupation for more than 80 years. The British say, dude, I'm sorry, okay? Saudi motherfucker with a CIA budget turning around and being like, I'm fighting for Palestinians is the funniest thing you can ever say, okay? These motherfuckers literally had backing from the Saudi kingdom, okay? Excuse me, where the fuck are you fighting for Palestinians? I'm sorry. Get the fuck out of here. And Americans read that, and because they have no understanding of like Saudi Arabia's relationship with Israel, Saudi Arabia's relationship with America, and they go, wow, that's crazy. He's saying he's fighting, you know, he's fighting for Palestine. He's really mad for Palestine. What the fuck are you talking about? Palestine, which is sunk under military occupation for more than 80 years, the British handed over Palestine. Yeah, like he's patting the deck. Okay? He's patting the deck with like things that reasons as to why he's doing this. Time for a HasanAbi TikTok on this? Yeah, I know. I mean, Jewish capitalists are a bit different in that regard. Their capitals were buying land in Palestine pre-declaration to build early settlements, and Herzl offered to buy land from the Ottoman Empire. Isn't that different? Fuck no, it's not. What are you talking about? What do you mean? First of all, no, it's not different at all. What the fuck? Yeah, dude, it's different when Jews want to buy land as opposed to anyone else. Like, what are you talking about? No, Zionism in its inception, and I've talked about this history so fucking much, okay? Zionism in its inception is a nationalist movement. However, it's a nationalist movement on territory, and there were plenty of other territories they looked at as well. It's a nationalist movement on territory where people were living. And the way that it started off was with a colonial Western superpower forcibly displacing people that used to live there. That's the problem. It's funny to think that this is like somehow unique. It's unique in the sense that, I guess, it's settler colonialism, but this time the settlers that are settling there aren't coming specifically from one area, but from numerous different countries. But I guess that's not so different than settler colonialism in America either. Anyway, important to say that the letter to American people was found in his compound, released by the U.S. government, not from the 9/11 era. Oh, he wrote this and then he didn't release it. He was shy. He was too shy. He was a shy bean. Small bean Osama bin Laden. Anyway. The creation and continuation of Israel is one of the greatest crimes, and you are the leaders of its criminals. And of course, there is no need to explain and prove to the degree of American support for Israel. The creation of Israel is a crime which must be erased. Each and every person whose hands have become polluted in the contribution towards this crime must pay its price and pay for it heavily. It brings us both laughter and tears to see what you have not yet tried, tired of repeating your fabricated lies of the Jews of historical right to Palestine as it was promoted to them in the Torah. Anyone who disputes them or is alleged fact is accused of anti-Semitism. Yeah, Osama bin Laden was a campus activist, folks. Osama bin Laden was like, I'm side by side with the Jews for peace. I am big on anti-Zionism, and it is not anti-Semitism. It's very fucked up. There is no justification in the Torah. This is one of the most fallacious, widely circulated fabrications of the history. The people of Palestine and pure Arabs and original Semites is the Muslims who are the inheritors of Moses, peace be upon him, and the inheritors of the real Torah are not changed. Muslims believe in all the prophets, including Abraham, Moses, Jesus, Muhammad. I mean, this part is just like true, correct, or at least it is the Islamic interpretation. Most have been promising a right to Palestine and the Torah that the Muslims are not worthy of the nation of this. When the Muslims conquered Palestine and drove out the Romans, Palestine and Jerusalem returned to Islam, the religion of all the prophets, peace be upon them. Therefore, blah, 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 blah. 3, the blood pouring out of Palestine must be equally revenged. You must know that the Palestinians do not cry alone. Their women are not widowed alone. Their sons are not orphaned alone. B, you attacked us in Somalia. You supported the Russian atrocities against us in Chechnya, the Indian oppression against us in Kashmir, and the Jewish oppression against us in Lebanon. Under your supervision, consent, and orders, the government of our countries, which acts as agents, attack us on a daily basis. The governments prevent us, our people from establishing the Islamic Sharia, using violence and lies to do so. The governments give us a taste of humiliation and places us in a large prison of fear and subdual. The governments steal our ummah's wealth and sell them to you at a paltry price. These governments have surrendered to the Jews, handed them most of Palestine, acknowledging the existence of their state, dismembered limbs of their own people. The removal of these governments is not an obligation upon us and a necessary step to free the ummah, to make the Sharia the supreme law, and to regain Palestine. And our fight against these governments is not separate from our fight against you. Damn, he fucking had a typo in there.
Deceive you. My voice just wants to leave you.
Bro, people need to stop. This has 12,000 likes. What is going on? No, guys, I can't believe I'm saying this, okay? Mr. America Deserved 9/11 has to make a statement here. Osama bin Laden was not right. What the fuck are you saying? What is happening, dude? What is going on in the world? Everyone needs to fucking dial it back 1,000 steps. Oh my God, the Zoomers are off the perk, off the bean. What the fuck is going on? Hello? I think a lot of people did not understand. Reportedly, the IDF just arrived at the southern part of Al-Shifa with bulldozers. I don't know what the bulldozers are there for, but if they're going to do some digging or something, thank you, Elant News, for the update. We'll get to Al-Shifa in a second. Turns out we have a situation here. Turns out we have a situation here. What is going on? People act like capitalism depends on religion. All capital owners do the same shit everywhere. All they know is serve ad breaks, obviously. Fuck you. God damn it. God fucking damn it, dude. Oh, yeah. We're going to do the IDF video in a second. We're going to go through the IDF video in a second. What the fuck? Why are there people saying this? This is so crazy. Everybody needs to dial it back.
People reading Bin Laden's letter to America for the first time, and they're feeling like shocked and grossed out that it's as reasonable as it is in comparison to what they were expecting.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what she's about to say here, but part of it is literally because Zoomers are gonna turn you into Sam Harris. No, dude. The issue is when you fucking hit the maximum aggro note on mainstream media to like try and desperately craft a narrative for years and years and years, and then like they meet like an Arabic person who is just normal and chill. They go, what the fuck? I thought you were an animal. I thought you were a violent, rabid animal. And a lot of people don't understand this because the anti-Arab sentiment, oh, by the way, I'm running the ad break now. Fuck you, chatter. The anti-Arabic sentiment, the anti-Arab sentiment, the anti-Islam sentiment in America has always been closely associated with white supremacist values. That's why it's like easy to just like immediately dive into that. Except the problem is they had to teach that quick. They had to really ham that up. They had to dial up the anti-Islam, Islamophobia narrative so fucking quick. They had to crank it so high that there's going to be a whiplash when people realize like, okay, maybe these guys aren't like brutal, violent barbarians or whatever the fuck across the board. But there is no circumstance under which you go, oh, I thought Osama bin Laden was some fucking barbarian monster warlord in the way that they presented him, and now I find out that he's capable of typing fucking letters And all of a sudden, that must mean that he's actually a good guy? Like, what? Have I been told a lie all along? No, it doesn't work that way. Okay? Especially when you have to analyze the situation and what Osama bin Laden had done even before 9/11. The problem is, when I said America deserved 9/11, what I was talking about was blowback. Okay? Which is a well-established concept that most academics agree on, and most people agree on in general. It's a valid concept. It is a very real concept.
And I'm seeing a bunch of people in their comments being like, did you forget the violence? Did you skip over all the religious extremism? Did you miss that part? Did you forget what he did? And to those people, to anyone who would have that reaction, to seeing that reaction to bin Laden's letter to America, how do you respond to people who support the U.S. military? When you see somebody supporting the U.S. military, openly showing support for the U.S. military, are you vastly more disgusted with them? You ask them if they just haven't noticed all the religious extremism? Do you ask them if they've forgotten about all of the violence? Are you proportionately disgusted? Because you should be vastly more disgusted. If not, why isn't your reaction proportionate?
Okay, I mean, this part is okay, she's not as bad. I don't know why she's framing this in the context of like Osama bin Laden is right. I think the context should be Osama bin Laden is not right, and his justifications are simply a way to galvanize his position, to bring people to his side. Ultimately, it is about meddling in the affairs of the Middle East for far too long and having some of those guys that you fucking trained come back and strike you. This is a well-established concept, okay? This is a well-established concept in the intelligence community, but in general, okay? This does not mean that like what he did was good. This does not mean that he was like an honest, a brave warrior that was like fighting against American imperialism, okay? It doesn't mean any of that shit. Are these Osama vids on OP to make leftists look bad? No, I don't understand why people are trying to do post hoc justifications for it. I guess like the most charitable interpretation is that if everyone has been told they hate us because they ain't us their whole fucking lives about why like 9/11 happened, all of a sudden they turn around and go, oh wait, what the fuck? These guys actually had like a well-defined, they had like a couple of reasons, some of which I might even agree with personally. And that's because they didn't do any fucking reading leading up to this moment and have been guided by what America has written on the subject, what mainstream media has said on the subject. That's where this comes from. It's a clear-cut lack of education and only being fucking motivated by whatever the fuck you see, whatever the fuck you see in the media, whatever the fuck you see in television, whatever you see is like being reinforced. So then all of a sudden when you realize like, wait a minute, there are some reasons as to why this happened that like it makes it understandable. You turn around and you go, oh fuck, maybe he was right. He's not. It's the funniest part of like, obviously the way that the media has presented Arabs in general and Muslims in general, and then like finding out that all of those Muslim leaders that don't dress in like Western garb and shit have literally gone to all of the best Western universities. You know what I mean? Did you cut ties with Ethan? No. What are you saying? Anyway, the removal of these governments is an obligation upon us. You steal our wealth and our oil at paltry prices because of your international influence and military threats. That's pretty funny to say that as well. Like, come on, dog. Like, he's not writing this in, guess what? Okay? There was a time and place where some of the stuff, not the fucking psychotic anti-Semitic bullshit, but some of the things he's saying here could have been seen as valid in like the 50s. He wasn't alive then, And when he was alive, when he was like, you know, in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, he was too busy killing Soviets. So what the fuck are we talking about here? Okay? Like, you can't write this 40 fucking years into OPEC and being like, they're stealing our oil. Like, brother, go deal with your own fucking people that are doing that then, okay? Because the fuck do you mean? Like, all of this shit has been well established at this point. Was he killing Soviets in Russia or Afghanistan? Afghanistan. And fought in the region anyway. Like, it wasn't just Afghanistan. Hasan talking about foreign policy, random chatter. So what I'm getting from this is you're no longer friends with Ethan. No, I don't know where people are getting that from. Your forces occupy our countries. You spread our military bases throughout them. You corrupt our lands and you besiege our sanctities to protect the security of Jews and to ensure continuity of the pillage of our treasures. You have starved the Muslims of Iraq, where children die every day. It is a wonder that more than 1.5 million Iraqi children have died as a result of your sanctions, and you did not show concern. Yet when 3,000 of your own people died, the entire world rises and is not yet sat down. You have supported the Jews in their idea that Jerusalem is the eternal capital and agreed to move your embassy there. With your help and under your protection, the Israelis are planning to destroy the Al-Aqsa Mosque. Under your protection of your weapons, Sharon entered the Al-Aqsa Mosque to pollute it as a preparation to capture and destroy it. By the way, remember when the Hasbara propaganda thing that we were watching? The Hasbara propaganda manual said that, like, Sharon literally fucking goose stepping at the Al-Aqsa Mosque wasn't a symbolic event that kickstarted the second intifada. Yeah, dude, this is, you know, yeah, it's definitely important in the Muslim world in general. Okay, the idea that, like, that wasn't a flex that would have frustrated the Palestinians is ridiculous. Okay, anyway, the tragedies and calamities are only a few examples of of your oppression and aggression against us. It is commanded by our religion and intellect and oppose the right to return the aggression. Do not await anything from us but jihad, resistance, and revenge. Is it in any way rational to expect that after America has attacked us for more than half a century that we will leave her to live in security and peace? You may then dispute all of the above does not justify aggression against civilians for crimes they did not commit and offenses in which they did not partake. Here's the thing. Wasn't he dead by the time we agreed to move your embassy there? That was under Trump? Yes, this is written... like, this was, I think, found after he was, oh wait, no, this is from 2002. I guess not. This is the full text of the Bin Laden letter to America. This is the full text. This isn't the other one. Anyway, listen. The point is, why, the reason why I talk about, like, American interference globally, okay, and it is the exact same argument, okay? American interference globally and American coups globally lead to violence against Americans in general. It breaks our fucking moral core when we constantly live in a cycle of violence that we constantly live in a cycle of violence that we perpetuate and we justify over and over again, okay? This is why I've said that living under an apartheid regime rots your core. It hurts you as well, sometimes through direct retaliation that is often violent, and the subjects of such direct violent retaliation, barbaric acts, are often innocent civilians, okay? But also through indirect ways that you cannot comprehend, like your psyche changing over the course of your existence, okay? This does not mean that you agree with Hamas, love their charter, any of those things. Just like I've mentioned October 7, how it did not happen in a vacuum, I've said the same things about 9/11, how 9/11 did not happen in a vacuum. Okay? You are the last ones to respect the resolutions and policies of international law, yet you claim you want to selectively punish anyone else who does the same. Israel has, for more than 50 years, been pushing the UN resolutions and rules against the wall with the full support of America. As for the war criminals, which you censure and form criminal courts for, you shamelessly ask that you are own granted immunity. I love how tapped in he is to, like, American politics, by the way, where he's, like, talking about the invasion of the Hague Act and shit, I assume. However, history will not forget the war crimes that you committed against the Muslims and the rest of the world. Those you've killed in Japan, Afghanistan, Somalia, Lebanon, Iraq will remain a shame that you will never be able to escape. It will suffice to remind you that your latest war crimes in Afghanistan, in which densely populated innocent civilians were destroyed, bombs were dropped on mosques, causing the roof of the mosque to come crashing down on the heads of Muslims praying inside. You're the ones who broke the agreement with the Mujahideen when they left Kunduz, bombing them in Jangi Fort and killing more than 1,000 of your prisoners through suffocation and thirst. Allah alone knows how many people have died by torture in the hands of you and your agents. Your planes remain in the Afghan skies looking for anyone remotely suspicious. You've claimed to be the vanguards of human rights in your Ministry of Foreign Affairs issues in annual reports containing statistics of those countries that violate any human rights. However, all of these things vanished when the Mujahideen hit you, and then you implemented the methods of the same documented governments that you used to curse. In America, you captured thousands of the Muslims and Arabs, took them into custody with neither reason, court trial, nor even disclosing their names. You issued newer, harsher laws. What happens in Guantanamo is a historical embarrassment to America and its values, and it screams into your faces, you hypocrites. What is the value of your signature on any agreement or treaty? What we call you to, thirdly, is to take an honest stance with yourselves, and I doubt you will do so, to discover that you are a nation without principles or manners, and that the values and principles to you are something which you merely demand from others, not that which you must yourself adhere to. Like, move on. No one cares what this dumbass said. Clearly, a bunch of people on TikTok have read this, didn't realize that there were didn't realize that, Muslims are capable of forming justifications, okay, for their actions, and it's not out of pure barbarity, something that I've talked about quite literally a million times over, something that I fucking got canceled for saying, as a matter of fact, in 2019, okay, years after the fact. Just because some of his grievances that he is mentioning here are correct doesn't change the violence of his actions and also the real motivations for why he was doing such things, because there are other places that he could be striking at instead of the United States of America. And also there are other additional motivations as well. Now, having said that, does he not care about the Vietnam struggle? Yeah, I mean, it's just, this is like, he's just piecing it together. The point is this. Osama bin Laden was not some like revolutionary figure. He was, again, he was an operator that the CIA gave funds to. His ranks were filled by those who had been trained by the American State Department. Why did they do this? Because he was seen as and don't take my word for it, take the word of the British press at the time, a weapon against the Soviets, okay? Why do I talk about all of these things and how America's actions globally will inevitably have worse consequences back on the United States of America if people don't listen to those takes at all and just simply go, no, this time it's different? Here, dude, this was on the newspaper, on the Independent. Anti-Soviet warrior puts his army on the road to peace. The Saudi businessman who recruited Mujahideen now uses them for large-scale building projects in Sudan. Robert Fisk met him in Almaty. Osama bin Laden sat in his gold-fringed robe, guarded by the loyal Arab Mujahideen who fought alongside him in Afghanistan. Bearded, taciturn figures, unarmed, but never more than a few yards from the man who recruited them, trained them, and then dispatched them to destroy the Soviet army. They watched unsmiling as the Sudanese villagers of Almaty lined up to thank the Saudi businessman who was about to complete the highway linking their homes to Khartoum for the first time in history. Make no mistake, okay? Offshoots of his militia force, okay, or Al-Qaeda, are still in operation, and they still use American weapons, okay? There are offshoots upon offshoots like Al-Nusra that operates in Syria, which is aligned with Israel. Remember that, just like direct Al-Qaeda members have fought in Yemen using American weapons. We have almost never stopped arming Al-Qaeda. Okay, at no point in our history or time, when you recognize all of that and don't have a way to just like gently tie it all together, you are going to fall for psychopathic conspiracy theories, okay? Or even sometimes end up, I guess, agreeing with Osama bin Laden. There is a reason why I say all the time that, yes, there's a reason why America is bad, okay? When I say America bad, it's not just like, oh, America's so bad. Oh, I'm so woke. There's a reason. This is part of the reason. What is this? It's on the hunt on the big screen today. I don't know where this is, but I'm glad that I'm on the big screen talking about Osama bin Laden's letters. Anyway, I would say America is flawed but has a good heart. No, the American government does not have a good heart at all, and have not done good things in general. Okay? No, not at all. The American government operates as a vestige of the capitalist machine. Its imperialist actions are done at the behest of capital owners. Anyone who tells you otherwise is wrong. Even Jimmy Carter? Fuck yeah, especially Jimmy Carter. With his high cheekbones, narrow eyes, and long brown robe, Mr. Bin Laden looks every inch the mountain warrior of Mujahideen legend. Adored children danced in front of him. Preachers acknowledged his wisdom. We have been waiting for this road throughout all the revolutions in Sudan, a sheikh said. We waited until we had given up on everybody, and then Osama bin Laden came along. Outside Sudan, Mr. bin Laden is not regarded with quite such high esteem. The Egyptian press claims he brought hundreds of former Arab fighters back to Sudan from Afghanistan, while the Western Embassy circuit in Khartoum has suggested that some of the Afghans, whom this Saudi entrepreneur flew to Sudan, are now busy training for further jihad wars in Algeria, Tunisia, and Egypt. Mr. bin Laden is well aware of this. The rubbish of the media and the embassies, he calls it. I'm a construction engineer and an agriculturalist. If I had training camps here in Sudan, I couldn't possibly do this job. And this job is certainly an ambitious one. A brand new highway stretching all the way from Khartoum to Port Sudan, a distance of 745 miles on the old road, now shortened to 800 kilometers by bin Laden, a route that will turn the coastal run from the capital into a mere day's journey. Into a country that is despised by Saudi Arabia for its support of Saddam Hussein in the Gulf War, almost as much as it's condemned by the United States. Mr. bin Laden has brought the very construction equipment that he used only 5 years ago to build the guerrilla trails of Afghanistan. He's a shy man. They're glazing him up, dude. On Monday, the 6th of December, 1993. Why would they do such a thing? Why would the British press write such positive things? Why, oh, why? Why, oh, why would they do that? No, it's not 1995. It's 1993. Yeah, this is the article. The point is, if you are constantly meddling in the affairs of other governments and you use radicalized militant factions in an effort to achieve your goals and to destabilize countries, especially when said countries are also acting in an unruly manner, some of which were not, but the communist Afghan government certainly was. But taking advantage of that and pushing militia forces, the Mujahideen, radicalizing them, arming them, in an effort to take pot shots at the Afghan government, and then ultimately, when the USSR invasion of Afghanistan begins, consistently funding them, offering them logistical support, and then just kind of leaving the country to them, is of course going to inevitably turn around and bite you in the ass when you're also continuing your occupation in both the region and even in that country as well. This is not that complex. Okay? This is the American modus operandi. This is what they've done time and time again. A great parallel to this quite literally is what we talked about with Hamas, an Islamist charity that was even originally funded by Israel. that was specifically propped up as the only party to negotiate with because Israel knew that everyone would look at them and go, well, this is just the type of terrorist that we are used to killing. These guys are. So any amount of violence, any untold amount of violence against or done to the Palestinians, as long as we slap the sticker that we're doing anti-terrorist activity in the region, will be considered just and moral. Except when you do that, there's fucking going to be blowback, and there's going to be a very deadly toll. Oh, the Soldier of Fortune magazine. What is this? Projecting so hard, man. No one liked the Soviets ever in the region, but sure, any partner with the CIA or USA is just out of convenience. Anyway, let's agree to disagree. Wait, what? I can't tell what you're trying to say. Provably false that no one liked the Marxists in the region. Wait, what the fuck? I can't tell if the dude just said... No, there was definitely a lot of momentum for communists in the region. The problem is the Afghan government did things that even the fucking USSR at the time considered to be insane. Okay? One of the major issues, in my opinion, within the USSR was consistently trying to fucking destroy, desperately trying to destroy any kind of religious momentum. Okay? Seeing it as like seeing it as a way to stop social cohesion from existing. It was a massive mistake. But the Afghan communist government worked so aggressively in that exact type of campaign that even the USSR was like, dude, you have to stop. The problem is, people can't look at the concept of blowback and understand it without just like still maintaining this black and white narrative of like good and evil. Okay? That's the issue here. If you are completely unfamiliar with all of the history that led to 9/11, and then everything you knew about 9/11 was that, well, they hate us because they ain't us. They hate us because they're like wild, bloodthirsty monsters, and they're simply operating from that framework, from that perspective. And then you all of a sudden find this secret truth that like, oh shit, there was actually some things that he said in this incredibly violent act that is reasonable from his perspective. Then you magically flip into the other direction and you go, well, America is the evil party and maybe Osama is the good party. That's not how this works. Of course they had fucking reasons. The whole point is trying to eradicate the reasons and not trying to deal with it militarily. That's why I advocate for the things that I do. The idea that like Osama bin Laden hated our free speech or hated our freedoms, all of this shit is so stupid. It was more than that. They wanted to destroy people's cultural histories. They changed the text of Farsi for the Tajiks and told them, no, you're not Iranian, you're a Tajik. No, you don't speak Farsi, you speak Tajik, and other examples. Anyway, please wrap up this Zoomer topic. I'm just saying this is not just simply like TikTok Zoomers wilding out. There's a reason for why people have this kind of like whiplash, okay? And I think that whiplash stems from people not really understanding the motivations behind certain actors that are anti-state, terrorists that have done really brutal and violent things. And ultimately, if you don't if you just only do propaganda and you never show like what the real motivations might be for someone out of fears that you might have a bunch of people not understand, or the fears that you have are like, oh, well, if I fully grasp the situation, maybe I won't be so aggro in maintaining the war on terror. All of a sudden, years later, when people find out, okay, maybe that was a bit of a lie, especially when it's combined with the other lies that you've told to go into Iraq, for example, then you're going to go, okay, well, maybe the other side was right, which is crazy. It's why I get so tired of people trying to shush the conversation around the history around Gaza for decades and acting like it started on October 7th. Exactly. Exactly. I don't think people are reading into this because they agree with bin Laden, but rather most people think that 9/11 happened because you said Arabs hate America, which is absurd. Exactly. That's my fear. And that's why I try to basically fucking describe these kinds of conflicts from the framework of like, it's not just good and evil. There's material reasons as to why these things are happening. And the actions of the American state are gross in most of the circumstance. And it's very radicalizing. It's very radicalizing to the people who are the recipients of said violence. If you want permanent security assurances, if you want permanent security in this region, you can't keep trying to deal with this militarily. Okay? There is no military solution to this. Think about it this way. Think about America's enemies turned allies post World War II. Like, America did the grossest thing it ever could to another country. Dropped 2 fucking nuclear bombs in Japan. But the permanent security assurances that they got from the Japanese wasn't because the Japanese were just terrified of America. It was also how much America spent on rebuilding the country in its own, obviously, in its own vision. And instead of doing things like that, instead of economic development, if you try to consistently deal with these countries with a military and forcibly keep these nation states undeveloped, if you pick winners and losers, okay, and then the losers and expect the losers to stay losers forever and not like make that occupation costly or make that violent incursion costly years later, well, you're wrong. Of course it's going to happen. Anyway, so yeah, he got a glaze up job back then. His bin Laden company, not to be confused with a larger construction business run by his cousins, is paid in Sudanese currency, which is then used to purchase sesame and other products for export. Profits are clearly not Mr. bin Laden's top priority. How do you feel about Algeria, I asked. But a man in a green suit calling himself Mohammed Musa, he claimed to be Nigerian, although he was a Sudanese security officer, tapped me on the arm. You have asked more than enough questions, he said, at which Mr. bin Laden went off to inspect his new road.